most memorable and most strange. Our story begins one dark and stormy night, 1883, in the county of Surrey, at the ancestral home of the Roylott family, Stoke a misanthropic and malevolent man, with a dark heart and an even darker past. Dr. Roylott had shunned society, preferring to keep to the company of the wild beasts of his menagerie, leopards, parakeets, and monkeys that he had brought back with him from India. My beauty!
My beloved, in just 4 days, I will become Mrs. Percy Armitage, and I will leave this evil place at last. Oh, darling, I know I ought to feel happy, stepfather has made me sleep in Julia's old room. It is almost exactly 2 years since she died in this very bed. Only days before what would have been her own wedding day. I cannot stop seeing the image of her on that tragic night. The gypsies are playing tonight. Such a strange and sad music. Julia loved it so. The music has made me rather sleepy. I shall continue this letter in the morning. Good night, my love.
But Miss Stoner's dreams were not so sweet that night. All is now quiet. 221B, Baker Street. But I do believe that a Miss Helen Stoner is about to pay us a visit at some ungodly hour.
Watson! I'm sorry to wake you at this ungodly hour. We have a visitor. She's in the sitting room. Ah, good morning, madam. My name is Sherlock Holmes. This is my friend and associate, Dr. Watson, before whom you may speak freely. Ah, I see Mrs. Hudson has lit a fire and made a pot of coffee. Shall I pour you a cup? Observe that you are shivering.
It is not cold which makes me shiver.
What then?
It is fear, Mr. Holmes. It is terror!
Madam? You must not fear. Because, well, Sherlock will soon set matters right. Hey, Sherlock.
Indeed. Madam, you've travelled in by train this morning, I see.
Yes, but how?
There is a train ticket in your left sleeve. You must have started early, and yet you're a good long drive along muddy roads in a dog cart before you reached the station.
How do you know?
Ah! There is no mystery, madam. Your sleeve is splattered with mud in no less than
7
places. There is no vehicle save a dog cart which throws up mud in that distinctive pattern, and only then when you sit on the
left-hand side
of the driver.
You are perfectly correct.
Perhaps you require something a little stronger than coffee.
Sirs, I can stand this strain no longer. I shall go mad if I do not unburden myself.
Madam, speak.
I have heard of you, Mr. Holmes. The case of the scandal in Bohemia.
Ah, yes. Dreadful business.
Mr. Holmes, they say that you can see deeply into the wickedness of the human heart.
He can read it like a book, madam, like a book.
Before I begin, I should add that at present I am unable to reward you for your
Madam,
services.
my profession is its own reward, and now, I beg you, lay before us everything.
My name is Helen Stoner. I live with my stepfather, Dr. Roylott, the last survivor of the Roylotts of Stoke Moran.
The Roylotts are one of the oldest Saxon families in England, I believe.
Yes, but no longer one of the wealthiest. I observe that both your boots are in need of repair, and, referring once again to your train ticket, you travelled second class.
Yes, the Roylotts were among the richest in England, but due to misfortune they fell into ruin. Some years ago, my stepfather, seeing that he must adapt himself to these new conditions, took a medical degree and went out to Calcutta, where he established a large and profitable practice.
Ah, Dr. Watson is familiar with India, are you not, Watson?
Yes, I practiced medicine in Darjeeling, in the military. Miss Stoner, your stepfather, Dr. Roylott, would that be Dr. Grimsby Roylott?
Yes, the same.
You know him, Watson.
I know of him. Despicable. Miss Stoner, while your stepfather was in Calcutta, did he ever find himself on the wrong side of the law?
Yes. I believe some serious misdemeanor did occur in Calcutta, but neither he nor my late mother ever spoke of it.
And how did Dr. Roylott come to marry your late mother?
My father was killed in action in India when my twin sister and I were 2, leaving my mother a considerable annual sum. Still, it was difficult for her, a single mother with 2 small children trying to navigate her way through the world without a man. I wish it were otherwise, but it is not.
A considerable sum.
Yes, £1,000 a year.
Well, £1,000 is a tidy sum.
Indeed it is.
My mother stipulated in her will that in the event of her untimely death, the entire amount was to be bequeathed to my stepfather.
And when did your mother die?
8 years ago, she was killed.
Killed?
Yes. In a railway accident, not far from Stoke Moran.
And you moved there after your mother remarried?
Yes, my stepfather insisted. Indeed, much of her income was wasted on endless renovations to that crumbling folly called Stoke Moran.
Whilst he ruminates, solvitur ambulando. It is solved by walking.
Describe your stepfather's relationship with your mother.
It was not a happy union. He drank, he gambled, he smoked.
The blackguard.
Yes, he was a bully and a brute.
He smoked, you say?
Yes.
Well, are we talking tobacco, Miss Stoner, or one of the East India Company's more profitable exports? Opium.
The latter, I'm afraid.
Expensive habits, Holmes.
We could barely afford to keep servants. Those we had left due to his bad behavior. My mother, my sister, and I were forever walking on eggshells. My mother's hair was white when she died, and she was barely 40.
Miss Stoner, tell us about the railway accident and your mother's death.
Yes, of course. It was late, one moonlit night. Mother was out on the moor walking our 2 Dalmatians. The sky was cloudless and filled with stars. You could see for miles across them. One reads of railway accidents, of course, but never in these moods. The dogs returned alone. How then could she not have seen the train approaching?
Or heard it?
The train! The train! The train! There is another possibility, but it's just too dreadful to think about.
You mean that your mother may have taken her own life?
Yes, but I refuse to believe that she would leave us alone in that world with that brute of a stepfather.
There's, of course, a third possibility.
Are you suggesting murder?
Miss Stoner, were there any conditions attached to the £1,000 a year that your late mother left your stepfather?
Yes, one, that each of us receive an annual sum of £350 in the event of our marriage.
So, in the event of both your marriages, Dr. Roylott would have been £700 the poorer. Well, did he have anything to say on the matter?
Well, what could he say? It was a legally binding document. Why? Do you have reason to believe that?
I have no reason to believe or disbelieve anything at this precise moment. Tell me, Dr. Roylott react when your mother died?
I never saw him in mourning, if that's what you mean.
Well, any further changes in his behavior?
Yes. He gambled more. He drank more. He smoked more. He became the terror of the village. He is a man of immense strength and uncontrollable in his anger. Last week he hurled the local blacksmith into a stream. And does he have any friends or companions? The wild beasts of his menagerie are his only companions.
A menagerie? How wonderfully ridiculous.
Yes, he has a passion for Indian animals.
He has no other acquaintances.
No, he's not a sociable man, Mr. Holmes. He has no acquaintances at all, save a band of travelers.
Oh, how interesting. I myself am very fond of the violin, played in the Romany style.
My father gave the traveling band leave to encamp down by the woods. The village folk were furious. There was nothing they could do.
How very generous of him. I'm sorry to say that there are few who would show our nomadic friends such hospitality.
And what is your stepfather's relationship with this traveling band?
He uses them. Indeed, I believe he offered this land to the gypsies in order to upset the people of the village. But he succeeded. They loathe him, and he them.
And when did our band of wayfaring strangers arrive at Stoke Moran?
A few months before my sister Julia died.
I see. Miss Turner, tell us about your sister's death, and pray, be precise as to the details.
My sister Julia died just 2 years ago. She'd become engaged to be married, but then, just days before her wedding, the dreadful event occurred.
Describe the house to me, Miss Stoner. Walk us through the corridors of Stoke Moran. Lead us by the hand into its darkest recesses.
Look there. Stoke Moran nestles in the fog. It's like the house is alive. Inside, the walls are decked with animal heads. In each room, ancestral paintings. On each surface, cobwebs and dust sheets. The house creaks and groans, and in the distance, animal noises. Stoke Moran is very old and very large. There are many staircases leading into its labyrinthine wings. It would be easy to get lost. But only one wing on the ground floor is inhabited, and it is here that our bedrooms are located. The first is my stepfather's. The second was my sister Julia's. The third, my own.
Allow me to interrupt. You say you unlocked the door. Were you always in the habit of locking your doors at night?
Oh yes, Mr. Holmes. With leopards, monkeys, and who knows what else prowling around, we always lock our doors. Helen? Helen, are you awake?
Oh, Helen, I can't sleep tonight. All that smoke of his.
Oh, not even with the music from the Roma camp.
No, not tonight. much we could be free of these walls.
Yes, but you will be married in a few days' time.
Yes, yes I will.
Yes. If only there was a way we could escape together.
Oh, wouldn't that be a dream?
Yes. To finally be free away from here.
Like the traveling folk, free to go wherever we like.
Yes. Do you remember, Julia, that evening we came across them?
Yes, we were walking home from the village.
And it was winter, and we saw them from a distance through the trees.
We were sitting around a fire, surrounded by tents and caravans. And Zena, she stood to sing a song.
And then Vano brought out his fiddle. Father Ralph, that's how the story goes.
The story about the fairy changeling.
I remember, we both looked at each other and we thought the very same thing.
Our stepfather is a changeling.
And then Julia, you snorted a laugh.
I did not.
You did. And we both ran back to the house. Julia, I am so happy for you. You will soon be free.
So will you. I will find you an amiable husband.
Yes, and with luck we shall be neighbors.
Yes.
And we shall throw grand parties, and there'll be music, and
Dancing
dancing,
and laughter
and
and
food,
wine
and
parties and...
Quiet! Get back into bed.
How can I leave you alone here with that bully?
What choice do we have?
It won't be for long.
Yes.
I promise.
Now go sleep. He'd be furious if he came back and found you here.
Good night, Helen.
Good night.
Helen, have you ever heard anybody whistle in the middle of the night?
Whistle?
Yes.
Never.
Why? Well, the last few nights, around 3 o'clock in the morning, I have heard a strange low whistle, and I couldn't tell where it was coming from.
I've heard nothing. Maybe it was the gypsies.
Maybe, but it sounded so close.
Or maybe it was one of the parakeets. They're always whistling.
Perhaps. I'm sure it's of no great consequence. Good night, Helen.
Good night, dear Julia.
In 3 days, I will be free. Don't forget, lock your door.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes, Miss Stoner.
I could not sleep that night. I had a vague feeling of impending misfortune. My twin sister and I were twins, and the connection between us was often quite uncanny. It was a wild night. The wind was howling and the rain was beating against the windows, when suddenly, what I can only describe as a sort of metallic clanging sound, followed by the same low whistle that Julia had spoken of. Julia! Julia! Dr. Ryland!
Out of my way!
Julia! Oh, Helen! Oh, Julia! Oh, Helen! Oh, let us go for a walk, okay? Yes, I long to feel the air on my face. Let us walk down to the river and see the bluebells. Oh, yes, carpets of bluebells. Do you remember how Mother loved them so? Oh, Helen, Julia? Helen, the band. They're speckled. What a band.
She's dead.
Julia! Julia! Julia!
Are you sure you heard a low whistle and a metallic clanging sound?
Yes, that is my strong impression. I can hear it still.
Now think, was there anything unusual? Was your sister holding anything?
Yes, in her right hand, a charred match.
A charred match. A charred match.
look about her.
Precisely. Now, Miss Stoner, were the window shutters open or closed?
Closed.
Now, turn your gaze back upon your sister. Were there any marks about her that might suggest a violent struggle?
No, there were no marks.
And her face, Miss Stoner, her countenance.
Oh, her expression was one of terror, of abject terror.
And the coroner, what did he make of it all?
Well, he investigated with great care.
What were his conclusions?
He concluded that as the door and windows were locked and there was no sign of poisoning, that she must have died of heart failure.
What do you think your sister died of, Miss Stoner?
I believe my poor sister died of fright.
What of your sister's peculiar words? The Speckled Band?
I have thought about this often, but anything that I have to say may to your ears sound improbable.
Ha! How often have I said, when you've eliminated the possible, whatever is left, however improbable, must be the truth?
Many times, Sherlock. Many times.
Well then, two things come to mind, both equally improbable. First, that the speckled band might refer to the polka dot collar my stepfather's rhesus monkey wears around his neck.
Interesting.
A bite from a rhesus monkey can be fatal. But the coroner would have to be blind not to notice it. And the other.
Sometimes I've thought the speckled band might refer to a band of people.
You mean the band of traveling folk?
You mean the spotted or speckled handkerchiefs that the gypsies often wear?
Yes, but I refuse to believe that they were...
I see. Miss Stoner, tell us about your betrothal.
Did I mention I was engaged, Mr. Holmes?
No, not so many words, but your engagement ring rather gives it away. I'm sure even Inspector Lestrade might have guessed that much.
Yes, I am engaged to be married to Mr. Percy Armitage. He's a most amiable man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And your stepfather has offered no opposition to this marriage.
My stepfather has agreed to give me away.
Dr. Watson.
Why? Your wrist, Miss Stoner, is badly bruised. And you appear tired, on the brink of exhaustion. I fear you did not sleep well last night.
No, not so well. My stepfather informed me that my chamber was in a state of disrepair, and that I must move to the chamber where my sister had died.
Did he? Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come full circle, and you and I need not hear all of this conversation, for we have already witnessed the events that took place at Stoke Moran last night that brought Miss Stoner hurrying here this morning. And now, let us continue.
And when is the precise date of your marriage?
This coming Saturday.
In 3 days' time.
I fear we have not a moment to lose. Miss Stoner, could we visit Stoke Moran today without your stepfather knowing?
Yes, he mentioned you would be away in town on business. He'll be away all day.
Excellent. Watson,
Yes.
are you up for a visit to Stoke Moran?
Well, it was a lecture.
Wonderful, then we shall both come. Shall we see you there?
Yes, I shall return now in time for your arrival.
Well, what do you think, Watson?
It is a most dark and sinister business.
Dark enough and sinister enough. But what of her sister's peculiar words? The Speckled Band.
Well, if the walls and the floor are sound, and the window and chimney impassable,
And let's assume that they are.
then she must have been alone when she met her mysterious end.
Whistles in the night.
A metallic clanging,
A polka-dot collared monkey.
and a wandering leopard,
A band of travelling folk beholden to Dr. Roylott.
and catastrophic dent in his annual income the moment Miss Stoner marries Holmes. This man has every reason to want the marriage stopped in its tracks.
Watson?
Yes.
To Waterloo.
Yes.
And on to Stoke Moran.
Mr. Holmes! Dr. Watson! There's a gentleman here to see you.
Gentlemen.
You expecting someone, Holmes?
Out of my way, woman!
Oh, what in the name of the devil?
Which of you is Holmes?
Well,
My name, sir. But you had the advantage of me.
I am Dr. Grimsby Roylott of Stoke Moran.
Ah. doctor. Pray, take a seat.
I will do nothing of the kind. My stepdaughter, Helen Stoner, has been to see you. I had her traced. What has she been saying to you?
It is a little cold for the time of year.
What has she been saying to you?
Well, I hear the Crocus's promise well.
No, you put me off, do you? I know you, you scoundrel. Holmes the busybody. Holmes the meddler.
Oh, Doctor, your conversation is most entertaining. When you go out, close the door, for there is a decided draft.
I will go when I have had my say, sir. Do not meddle in my affairs. I'm a dangerous man to fall foul of.
Yes, Dr. Roylott, I believe that you are.
Ah, yes. You are familiar with the doctor, are you not, Watson?
Unfortunately, I am. You were, in Calcutta, were you not?
Do I know you, sir?
No, but I know you. I was an army doctor, stationed in Darjeeling.
And I was in White Town, Calcutta, lying on a bed of English roses. What of it?
Well, there was a medical orderly, excellent chap, name of Amal Chowdhury.
Yes, well, I had half a dozen servants. I can't remember one of their ruddy names.
Well, the name then, Babak Chowdhury, does not mean anything to you.
Well, if you throw a cricket ball in Calcutta, you're bound to hit a Chowdhury. The name means nothing to me.
Well, he was the younger brother of Amal Chowdhury, and he was murdered by you, sir.
He was a thief, sir.
He was nothing of the sort. I followed the case closely, and from what I recall, you decided to defend yourself.
I had nothing to defend.
So you believed. Huh. What it came down to is that Dr. Roylott is from English nobility, and Babak Chowdhury was a native of India. Therefore, it did not matter to you if Babak Chowdhury was guilty or not.
You mean Dr. Roylott believed he could act with impunity?
Oh, he was not alone.
And did the jury agree?
On this occasion, they did not. To everyone's surprise, including the judge, the jury found Dr. Roylott guilty.
It was a damn disgrace. Call themselves British scoundrels, the lot of them.
You were lucky to escape the hangman's rope.
Sir, I was given a 6-month sentence, and there's plenty who believe that even that was shameful.
I've met plenty of your sort, Roylott. The moment you had served your sentence, you did not think twice about turning tail and running back to England.
But I met plenty of yours. A disgrace to your race. We had a job to do in India, and if a good whipping was needed to get it done, we did it. Come, me lover, come, me best, and we'll fill the Sultan's chest, and we'll put a tiger's head upon the top. And like General Edward Clive, we will prosper, we will thrive, fill our pockets with the gold from the Indies. And it's never mind the slaves rotting in their graves, never mind the women held in chains. It's tea and spice we're after, some opium and laughter, while the gold up to the rafters from the Indies. And it's hey, ho, he rides across the land, hey, ho, and a pistol in his hand. To India he's come, and with treasure in return, and he's been to make a fortune in the Indies. In the towns and city squares of this sectored isle, they'll erect monuments to men like me. And no one will remember the name of Babak Chowdhury, and no one will remember you, sir.
Say,
Good heavens!
See that you do not fall foul of me, sir.
Well, Watson, a very amiable fellow, eh?
well, it could have been more odious had he been drawn from the pages of a penny dreadful.
Exactly. Now, I think you'll agree I am not quite so bulky as he, but had he stayed a moment longer, I might have shown him that my grip is not quite so feeble.
Bravo, Holmes. Now, this incident rather gives zest to our investigation.
Indeed, it does, Watson. My only hope is that our good friend Helen Stoner does not suffer from allowing that brute of a stepfather to trace her. And now, Watson, we have a train to catch.
Yes.
For the game is
Is
afoot.
afoot.
Excuse me, madam! Taxi! 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 This... I'm of my way, you wretched child! Taxi! Taxi! What have I just said, you old baggage? Taxi! Taxi! Ah! Waterloo!
Platform 13, all stations, Speckled Band, Leatherhead, Wuthering Heights, Pride and Prejudice, Brief Encounter, and Little Dorrit. All aboard!
A more dreadful record of sin! And as the slime, beautiful and verdant English countryside!
Oh, Holmes, who would associate crime with these dear old housesteads and hedgerows?
Ha!
Next stop, Speckled Band. Giddy up, you little puny!
Driver, do you live locally?
Oh, yes, sir, in the village, sir. Born and bred, sir.
I hear there's a band of gypsies around here.
Oh, yeah, the travelling folk. Oh, you always get a few of them around here, sir, especially this time of year.
Any trouble?
Oh, no, only if you're looking for it. Only if you're looking for it, sir. You know, they tend to keep themselves to themselves. But, you know, if ever there's a finger of suspicion to be pointed, it always gets pointed at the gypsies. So.
Yes, how very convenient.
Ah, what's that house over there?
Oh, that's Stoke Moran, sir. Home of Dr. Grimsby Royal.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen a fence so high outside of a prison.
Well, it goes right round the old estate, sir.
And have you ever been in there?
Oh, not on your life, sir. Oh, and I expect if I ever did do it, it'd be the last thing I ever do.
Why is that, then?
Well, it's always been a strange place, sir, but with Dr. Roylott in charge, stranger still. The noises you hear at night make your blood run cold.
Ah, you mean the menagerie, the leopard, the monkey, and so on and so forth.
So on and so forth, and the half of it, sir. Oh, we've lost count the amount of cats and dogs gone missing, and then there's the man himself.
Oh, so you've met Dr. Roy?
Oh, have I met him?
Oh. Stop!
Whoa!
Can we get to the house from here?
Well, you can, sir. Across that field, where that lady's walking.
Ah, I fancy that's Miss Stoner.
Driver, this is a shilling. It's yours if you promise not to tell Dr. Grimsby Roy that two gentlemen were asking questions.
Which two gentlemen would that be, Squire?
There we are then, Holmes. Nice brisk walk in the countryside, eh?
Watson.
There we are. Best foot forward. Now watch. There's just a little something. Oh.
Oh, what is it?
One clean out.
Ah, Miss Stoner.
Oh, Mr. Holmes! Dr. Watson, you came!
Of course we came. Did we not say we would?
Indeed we did.
I should not have doubted you. In any case, all has turned out splendidly. My stepfather has gone to town, and he shall be away until the evening.
Yes, we have already had the pleasure of making his acquaintance.
Good heavens, he has followed me then.
So it appears.
Oh, why should I be surprised? He's so cunning, I never know when I am safe from him. What will he say when he returns?
He must guard himself, for he may find there is someone more cunning than himself upon his tracks.
You must lock yourself up from him tonight, but he is violent. Never fear. We will intervene. And now, we have very little time.
Yes.
Take us to the rooms which we are to examine.
Yes, follow me.
This, I take it, is the room you used to sleep in.
Yes, but as I mentioned, my stepfather suggested it would be inconvenient for me to remain there while repairs were carried out. So he moved me into my sister's room.
Yes, you did say that. However, from what I can see, this room is not in need of any repair. Watson,
It all looks pretty sound to me.
these repairs seem like they were merely a ploy to move you from this room into your sister's room.
But why?
Not for the good of your health, I fear. But let's go to where your sister met her fate, and let's see if that throws any light upon the matter. This bell pull, where does it communicate with?
The housekeeper's room.
Watson, what think you, this bell pull?
Well, it looks newer than the other things.
Yes, it was put there only a couple of years ago.
Your sister asked for it.
Oh, no, why would she? There's been no housekeeper for years.
So it would be completely unnecessary to put such a bell pull there. Why? It's a dummy. Watson, come and see.
Well, it's not even attached to a wire.
Ah, here's something interesting. Look there. It's attached to a little hook just above the opening to the ventilator.
How very absurd. I've never noticed that before.
Yes, it's not the only absurd thing about this room. For example, what a fool the builder must have been to put a ventilator through into another room rather than the outside air. That room is your stepfather's, am I correct?
Yes, and the ventilator is also quite modern.
Done about the same time as the bell pull.
Yes, there were several little changes carried out about that time.
Yes, they seem to be of a rather interesting character, do they not? Dummy bell pulls, ventilators which do not ventilate, and... well, who knows what else? Miss Stoner, we must carry our investigations into your stepfather's room.
I told you he was cunning. His door is double locked.
Then I shall have to be twice as cunning. What's in that safe?
Oh, my stepfather's business papers, I imagine.
So you've seen inside then?
No, not that I can recall, but what else could be inside?
Oh, I don't know. A cat, for example.
A cat! What a strange idea. Why on earth would there be a cat?
Why, to catch the mice, of course.
Ah, little Indian field mice. Oh, there must be about 24 of the little fellows.
Miss Stoner, were you aware that your stepfather kept little Indian field mice?
No, though I can't say I'm really surprised.
No, he does have a leopard and a monkey after all. Why shouldn't he be surprised at finding a box full of mice? Perhaps he bought them to entertain the leopard. They are, after all, large cats. Or perhaps he fancies himself as something of a Pied Piper.
It's a Ben Suri.
A what?
An Indian bamboo flute.
The whistling sound Julia and I heard. That's it!
Well, yes, that's one piece of the puzzle in place then, eh, Holmes?
More than Watson. More than one piece. There is just one last point I should like to determine. Yes, it is quite settled. Now, the safe. Oh. Hello. Here is something interesting. What do you make of that, Watson?
Well, it's a common enough dog lash, leash, lead. Yes, it's a lead. Woof, 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 woof. That's it. Although why it would have such a small loop on the end, I have no idea.
No, that is not quite so common. Perhaps he's thinking of taking his little Indian field mice for a walk. Ah, me. It is a wicked world. And when clever men turn their brains to crime, it is the worst of all. Come, we must go.
Holmes, aren't you curious to know what's inside the safe?
No, I think I've seen all I need to for the time being. Miss Stoner, my friend and I must spend the night in your room.
Mr. Holmes!
In Julia's room. Allow me to explain. That over there, that's the village inn.
Yes, the Crown.
That is where we shall be ensconced. When your stepfather returns this evening, can you find a reason to retire to your sister's room?
Yes, I shall feign a headache. It's what I normally do. Not that he cares.
Excellent. When you hear him retire for the night, you must open the shutters of your window and place a lamp there as a signal to us. Then retire to the room you used to occupy. Can you do that?
Yes, I'm sure I can. And you?
When we see your signal, we shall return from the inn and spend the night in your sister's room. We shall investigate the cause of the noises which have disturbed you and your sister.
Good night, gentlemen, and thank you.
Do not thank us just yet.
Not fortune, Watson, foresight. For I telegrammed the Crown this morning, requesting a room facing east. Watson?
Yes.
Dr. Roylott has returned.
Yes.
You know, Watson, I really have some scruples about taking you this evening. There is a distinct element of danger.
Danger? Well, you have evidently seen more in these rooms than was visible to me.
No, I imagine you saw all that I did. However, I may have deduced a little more.
But I saw nothing remarkable, save for the dummy bell and, well, what purpose I cannot imagine.
You saw the ventilator too.
Yes, but I see nothing so very unusual about a small opening between two rooms. And besides, it was so small that, well, a rat could hardly pass through it, let alone a monkey in a polka dot collar.
Indeed. However, I knew we should find a ventilator before we set foot in Stoke Moran.
How so, Holmes?
Miss Stoner said her sister could smell smoke from Dr. Roylott's opium pipe. That suggested a communication between the two rooms. It can only have been a small one, though it would have been commented upon by the coroner. I deduced a ventilator.
Yes, but for what purpose?
Well, there is at least a strange coincidence of dates. A ventilator that does not ventilate is made.
Yes.
A dummy bell rope is hung.
Yes.
And the lady who sleeps in the bed dies.
Yes.
Does that not strike you?
No. As yet I fail to see a connection.
What's an Well, did you notice anything unusual about the lady's bed?
No, nothing.
Watson, it was clamped to the floor.
The deuce it was!
lady could not move her bed even if she had wished to. It must always be in the same relative position to the ventilator and the bell pull.
Holmes, we are only just in time to prevent some subtle and horrible crime.
Subtle enough and horrible enough. When a doctor goes wrong, he is the first of criminals. He has nerve and knowledge. This man strikes deep, but we shall strike deeper. Yes, there shall be horrors enough before the night is over.
Then let us sit a while and enjoy the fire. A toast. Yes, a toast.
Ah,
To you, my friend.
thank you, Watson. Scotch?
No, Darjeeling.
No, damn it. Hey, Watson.
You're working.
It's simply a ninny.
Holmes, where does our band of gypsies fit into all of this?
Ah, our band of gypsies. Well, they don't fit in at all. Well, we've already heard Dr. Roylott express his feelings towards India and its people. Why should he feel any differently towards a travelling folk?
Quite. And did Miss Stoner say that he only allowed the gypsies to remain on his land in order to rile the villagers?
Indeed. As our driver so succinctly put it, if there's a finger of blame to be pointed, it will be pointed at the travelling folk.
The perfect cover for any crime.
Always the suspect, but rarely the culprit.
God, is there no end to this man's malevolence?
Oh, there will be an end, Watson, and it will be soon.
Holmes, look there. The lamp.
That is our signal. Now, Watson,
Yes?
don't forget your hat.
Oh,
And I shall take this cane.
did you hear that, Holmes?
You appear rather unnerved, Watson.
I have not forgotten Dr. Roylott's menagerie.
Ah, yes, the leopard.
Yes, Holmes, the leopard. I fear I might find it upon my shoulder at any moment.
I wouldn't concern myself, Watson. Dr. Roylott takes care of his menagerie far better than he takes care of his family. The leopard will be fed, and you will be of no interest.
How can you be so sure? What if the damn thing fancies a little light supper before bedtime? Oh, did you see that? It was some kind of curious child.
Yes, particularly hirsute child, Watson. And according to Mr. Darwin, a distant cousin of yours.
A cousin of mine? Ah, it's that horrid monkey!
Pull yourself together. Watson, have you ever considered a career in the music hall?
Very amusing.
She'll never be a Roylott, never have the Sundays.
Holmes, we have company.
Who's a pretty boy then?
There's two of them.
Yes, perhaps more. Although I fear their conversation may be a little limited.
Roylott, what a cracker!
Talking parakeets. Whatever next?
Hush, Watson. We are right beneath the villain's window. Ah, this is Miss Stoner's bedroom. Watson. Lock the door, Watson. Shh. Least sound could be fatal to our plans. Let us take a seat at the foot of the bed. Keep your wits about you. You must sit without light. You would see it through the ventilator. Life may depend upon it.
Holmes. The hats.
Watson, you fool. The ventilator.
Opium?
Yeah. Dr. Royle at his little lab. The band. The Speckled Band.
Is he dead?
Yes. Yes, I'm afraid so.
And that is what killed my sister Julia.
Yes. Would have been quick. It's any consolation. Do you recognize it, Watson?
Yes, it's a speckled swamp adder, the deadliest snake in India.
Let us thrust its creature back into its den, and let the county police know what's happened.
And so, once again, violence recoils upon the violent, and the schemer falls into the pit which he has dug for another. Such are the true facts of the grim death Dr. Grimsby Roylott of Stoke Moran.
Giddy up, you little puny!
Watson, don't forget your hat.
Ah, thank you, Holmes.
But, Mr. Holmes, how did he make the snake do his bidding?
It is hard to train a snake, but very easy to torment one. Dr. Roylott must have withheld its meal of Indian mice, driving the creature mad with hunger. The flute was used to reinforce the snake's impression it was going to get fed, thus making it more irritable and more deadly.
Which is why the snake bit Julia.
Precisely. Once Dr. Roylott had thrust the creature through the ventilator, there was only one way to go. Down the bell pull and onto the bed, where it bit your sister, and would have bitten you too, had you not called on Dr. Watson and myself.
And the metallic clanging sound.
Merely the sound of your stepfather closing the safe door upon its terrible occupant. The sight of the safe, the cage of Indian field mice, and the dog lash with the small loop at the end were all I needed to deduce it was a snake. I heard the creature hiss. I lit my match, and I attacked it with my cane.
Driving it back through the ventilator where it turned on its master.
Quite.
So his motive was purely financial.
I'm afraid so, Miss Stoner. Your stepfather's motive was as predictable as it was mundane. Money.
Whoa! Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I'm terribly sorry. I clean forgot. Telegram came for you.
Read it, Watson.
Ah, yes. Let me see now. Yes, it's from Dr. James Mortimer. Friend dead. Stop. Suspect foul play. Stop. Come at once.
Well, does Dr. Mortimer mention this dead friend's name?
Yes, deceased name, Baskerville.
Oh, look, sir! The gypsies are leaving. Must be heading off for pastures new.
Aha! So must we, Watson. So must we. For the game
Is afoot!